Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. What's good, Passport Bros? We got a lot of topics to talk about tonight. We're going to first talk about, we're going to kind of address some things with the dating coaches again. And then we're going to talk about long distance international dating. And then we're going to attack some talking points of guys saying, why you need to date these women in other countries when they got them in the U.S. So I got QB Passport flexing in the background. We're about to get to it.
Yeah. Got the flight book, it's a library. I'm in that deal. Just took a flight to Bora Bora and foreign cars like foreigners. Berry on her. Up in France, bitch, bonjour. I been come to go soon. We going Paris tomorrow. Only Paris we carry, spin at the mall. We doing the same alone. My diamonds be saying, add some more change. That's the same alone. Dripping all the way from home and taking the wrong. Got the flight book, it's a library. We ain't flying solo. Tune in to the show. It's the Passport Bros. No excuse entertainment. Jay Slay on the show. Turn it up some more. It's the Passport Bros.
Yo. What's good? What's good?
What's cracking, fam? What's good? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Your audio sounds excellent, man.
Perfect.
So where you at? Where you at on right now? Are you in? Are you stateside or?
Yeah, I'm stateside right now, but I will be back in Cali. I mean, not in Cali. Back in Mexico next week. So just had to handle some business at the office, and yeah, I'll be back on that plane hitting Veracruz, man.
Okay. Sounds good, man. Let me see who in the building. The Andrew Show. What's good, bro? What's good? Man, the traveler Nate in your state. What up? Global Paper, man. Brazil or die. Models and bottles for life. Versus King. Threesomes King, man. Yes, sir, man. So, man, last time you was on, man, we talked about a lot. A lot of guys, like the conversation about, dating coaches and, resumes versus travelers versus dating coaches, man. And I know you've been, going back and forth with a few, man. So what's going on, man? Have they conceded, man, that the Passport Bros, man, they got it?
Right. Well, they keep saying the same notion over and over that game is everything. Everything you do in life is game. You need game overseas because the girls are going to rob you. You need game because you need to be able to not basically get finessed by a girl long term. And again, it's the same talking points that doesn't hit anything. We can go to a country and meet the local women without using any manipulation tactics, any gaming or play any games, period. And it comes down to basic social awareness. You know, you can sense when a girl is genuine or not. And I don't define that as game or having game, period.
No, facts. Your wife said, "Me gusta Mexico."
That's right.
QBB, salute. Yeah, man. So it was something I put on the my community tab, and I was like, man, let me just let's talk about this real quick. So I want to share.
Go ahead.
I want to share this real quick. So I had seen like a map of sex tourism as far as females, and you could kind of see like a lot of places that they hit up. So I was thinking, I was like, if females travel, for casual encounters or whatever you want to call it, how come the dating coaches don't go at them and try to help them? Because they traveling just as much as men. So if if the passport bros is looked at as we don't got no game in the States because we traveling, then what does that say about the females?
Right. Well, you make a very excellent point, and they're going to say that there are guys here that are giving the girls the D, and that's just a very few minute population of women that travel. But we all know that these girls, they're traveling to get their backs blown out by Juan, Chad, Jose, Tyrone in Jamaica. So, the whole narrative is let them be. And why are you worrying about them when you need to focus on this game that you need to learn to get women here? Which of course we don't need.
No, right. We don't need it, man. I just thought it was kind of ironic, man. I'm like, okay, if females traveling, then that means they ain't got no game. What's wrong with them? But they want to focus on us.
Right. And we know that those women are basically traveling simply for sex because most of those men in those countries can't be a provider for them compared to men here in the States. So they shame us, but why are you not shaming them? And what's the excuse?
Right. Yeah, and I heard some other talking points too, as far as dating coaches, what they can provide. It can help you in the U.S. and and abroad. But I keep going back to this, pretty much the results and resumes. If you interviewed or polled any guys that was probably that paid a dating coach, I'm sure the results from them paying that dating coach doesn't compare to the results of a brother using his passport.
And that's facts. You got to say to yourself, why would I need to spend $1,000 an hour to talk to somebody to get better results with women? Why would I pay for a boot camp in Las Vegas and literally get ripped off when I don't know if you've ever been to Vegas, but bro,
yeah,
it's baddies everywhere. All you need to pay for is this club admission to get in. I don't need no corny ass dating coach that doesn't show any receipts or hides his receipts of the women that he actually is with to come rip me off to go to a Vegas nightclub or to have a consultation when I can just easily get my passport and go somewhere and make it happen on the fly.
Right. So the counter argument is saying, okay, you go overseas, you have the experience you're looking for, but you got to come back home. And so in that interim time, you're not really doing nothing in the meantime. You got to resort to self-gratification, so to speak. So so basically they're trying to say it's a Band-Aid. Traveling is just putting a Band-Aid on the issue.
Right. Well, here's the thing. A lot of guys, they're starting to work remote, okay? They're starting to invest in visas, so they literally have long stays. And then when you come back to the United States, it's only temporarily. So it's a counter argument because if you're a real passport bro, you don't feel the need to or desire to really date a woman here in the States because you're constantly traveling.
Right.
So now, relationship wise, if they want to say, oh, well, you're just having a long distance relationship and when you're not there, she's getting plowed by other dudes. Well, that's their opinion. That can be true. That cannot be true. But most of these guys, they have multiple women that they're dealing with. So it's like, hey, I got a backup quarterback, I got a third string quarterback, and I'm about to draft a new rookie. So I'm not hurting,
Exactly. When I think of overseas, I think about replaceability. I think about how quick I could replace a chick if I got to re-up on my roster. I could re-up way quicker overseas than I could in the U.S.
Oh, of course. And same here. And when it comes to the long distance relationship that they're going to try to downgrade it, um, I would say most passport bros that are kind of in that situation,
Hmm.
they really have vetted the girl. And because what they learn here in the West doesn't apply in other countries. All right.
Hmm.
Um, Guys that I know that do the whole long distance LTR thing, the girl comes from a really good family. All right. So she's not out and about doing all these things.
Right.
And the guy has met the parents. The dad is like, yeah, she comes home, she does what she has to do. We want to see you here more often, and we appreciate what you do.
Exactly.
Simple.
Exactly. No, you're right, man. And Global Paper said I haven't had sex in the U.S. for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Hey, man, if it's better somewhere else, man, I commend that. What I mean, I went on a what is it? It was like a 4-year sex hiatus in the U.S. You know what I mean? Because I didn't need it. It wasn't. What I mean, it wasn't. I didn't get no value of it. It was just, and it was a lot of risk. What I mean, having sex with women in the U.S.
Right.
So interesting that you brought up long distance relationships because yesterday, shout out to Ronan Travels with Alex and Gerard. So we were talking about and Big Truck Reviews hopped on. So we were talking about so they were saying that they deal with women in the U.S. In addition of traveling overseas because some men can go without. Some men say, you know what, I gotta get some action while I'm in the U.S. So we were having a conversation and we were talking about long distance dating in the U.S. because I had brought up an example of like overseas, you meet a woman online, y'all probably talking for a few weeks, a month, and when y'all meet, I was like, a lot of times they ready to smash, you ready to smash before I even go on a date. Whereas in the U.S., you meet a girl in your local city, y'all go on your first date, like she excited about the date, you thinking about smashing. So you want to smash her right now, right before y'all go on the date, but she's not even thinking about that. And I was like, that's why I like overseas. So they were like, well, you see what you just said was that the woman overseas you talked to for at least a month. So that's why you was able to smash right away. And then I thought about it, and when I did long distance dating in the United States, I smashed right away too because we were talking for a while before we met. So make a long story short, long distance dating is what seems like a better option because what I mean, you can talk, what I mean, you can kind of vet a chick better, and then
Right.
you don't have to rush into a date.
Right. Well, one thing to take in consideration is you're able to have something consistent, okay? And you're able to stack your bread and eventually move out there long term. So it's a process. And of course, dating coaches, your homies that are here stateside, they're gonna hate in the process. Um, but as long as she's riding with you, and eventually you get to the finish line, you're the one that's looking like the winner, which you have done, by the way. Um, and you can say, hey, guys, it's worth it compared to trying to date women here in the States and playing the circus and get your pockets hurt really, really bad trying to listen to a dating coach.
Yeah, I mean, you get you get long distance. So let's talk about some of the benefits of long distance dating before we get into international versus local. So have you been in long distance relationships in the U.S.?
So good. Yeah, I have. Right when I graduated college, my college sweetheart, when I came back to Cali, We were doing it for almost 2 years.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's one of those things like we're still friends now, but she totally regrets like not moving out because I told her like, hey, your pops, he got money, he's gonna take care of you. Come out here, do the whole teaching thing, and
Right.
if it doesn't work out, you just move back home. And of course, once they, they always think that they can get something better, and she never got anything better. And yeah, um, she moved on, but it was something that she really, really regretted.
Yeah. And let me know in the chat, man, if any of y'all put a one in the chat, man, if y'all been in a long distance relationship, whether it's a chick in a different state or a chick that was, I would say, far enough where you probably have to see her on the weekends if y'all was in the same state. Put a one in the chat if y'all did long distance relationships. So my vantage point is, from my experience, long distance relationships end up working for me because um, it creates curiosity. Alex said you get in a woman's mind as you're talking to her. Women are more aroused by suggestive talk. So when you meet a woman online, or let's say you met her in a city, it's a little bit more curiosity, and all you really have is communication. So when the chick live in the same city as you, she feel like she could kind of push things off. There's no sense of urgency, and she might not feel the need for y'all to talk all the time because she like we in the same city. When you ready to see me, with just plan a date. Whereas a
Right.
chick in another city, you're not gonna buy a plane ticket if you're not talking to a chick all the time. And,
Facts.
and she kind of understands it, and vice versa. So you know what I mean. So if she's not giving you no interest right away, then you already know, like, she wasn't worth it in the beginning. But chicks that end up giving you that time, because time is the most valuable thing you could give a person. She giving you that time, then man, that you could build up the rapport and comfort where when y'all see each other, it's gonna be on and pop.
Right. Right. Definitely. And to add on that, again, it's something for travel bros to consider no matter what age that you are. I feel as men that are older, and I probably want to say like, middle-aged men, 45 and older, they're going to be able to kind of move quicker because they have the resources, and they're going to say, look, I'm going to do this long distance relationship thing. Um, but my goal is to move to that destination within a year or two. Whereas younger passport bros, it may take some time. It may take 5 years.
Right.
It may take 10. But if you have a girl there and things are working and you kind of get to do your thing on the side, like why not? And it's consistent. That's the thing. It's consistent and you're the number one option. Now, could there be a possibility that another passport bro can slip up and take your girl? Absolutely. But again, you have other options just besides having a long distance relationship. We have the P2P, we have just the casual hookups. So it all varies depending on what the guy really wants.
No, facts. So there are benefits to long distance dating, whether it's in the U.S. or abroad. So I want to focus on just the differences, and I would say advantages of dating international long distance. Because in the U.S., like I said, like we kind of concluded yesterday, a long distance relationship, if you meet a chick online, 9 times out of 10 you gonna smash when you fly to her city or she fly to your city, because y'all been talking for a while. So let's just say casual hookup. Let's just say you could probably get both in the U.S. in a long distance situation. So for me, the difference comes to when you're trying to get in a serious relationship. The casual hookup is let's just say they negate each other. So
Right.
what do you see differently trying to the casual, so you casually hooking up with chicks, and
Right.
then let's say a chick you start liking in the US versus a chick you start liking, let's say in Mexico.
Right.
What is the difference when you want to start taking it serious? What type of things you see?
Right. Well, you know that you're the number one option. I feel here in the United States, even though you're in a relationship, if your girl is very, very attractive, she's going to be hit up by multiple dudes,
Hmm.
like 24/7. And it's kind of like that hypergamy deal. Um, I feel for me to lock down a chick in Cali, I would have to probably have some type of apartment close to the beach or in downtown, drive a $40,000 car, um, and take her out at least once every 2 weeks to something really, really expensive. We're talking like Mastro's. Red Lobster is considered happy hour out here. you know that bill is seriously going to burn your pockets for a solid looking chick. We're talking at 8.5 plus. All right,
Mhm.
7, you can kind of work your way, but to me it's like, is it really worth it, especially if she already has a kid by somebody else? So for
Hmm.
me, like, the value is a lot better, especially if the girl has no other kid. So you
Salute.
can
Boy.
so again, you can build your resources as you're dating her, and then once you cross that goal line where you move there full time, you already got your woman established. Like, you don't have to start from zero.
Man, you brought up some good points, man. Like what you got to do to even maintain the relationship, because even Ronan said, multiple dudes hanging out on the phone and DMs. Like it's competition time now. It's
Mhm.
competition time now. Now she's like, okay, you're competing against all the other suitors in her head. So you got to keep it's pressure. So one thing is the pressure, and some guys will criticize and say, well, guys want it easy. Guys don't want, they don't want the pressure, but you work smarter, not harder. Because at
Exactly.
the end of the day, it's the results you want, not how you get the result. It's the result. You
Right.
know.
Right.
So what Passport Bros do, we take ego out the equation, because ego is what these dating coaches and critics try to play on. Ego,
Right.
you should have an ego to say you want to take the challenge and not go through the path of least resistance.
E-
You
e-
know,
ex- exactly. And so, like, for my situation, it's kind of like, I hate to say this, but this is big facts. Like, I'm spoiled. Like, from what I experienced in Mexico, I don't date a chick over 30, man. That's how good I got it over there. you know? So when I get the shaming, like, oh, you need to be here, and certain girls, well, I got a career, I got this, or I got that. Well, yeah, now you want to settle down when you're 35 and you got 100,000 miles on you by Chad, Tyrone, Day Day, Pookie, you, and I'm supposed to be the educated brother to just catch you and say, come to me. I'm
right,
sorry, it's not happening.
right.
So I appreciate a younger, submissive woman that has no kids, that I know I can establish a future with long term.
No, I agree. Global Paper said if you live in California or New York or Miami, to date an 8 or above, you need to make 200K plus a year minimum. Good luck. You right, man. An 8 and above, and then you got the chicks that think they 8s and not.
Right. But dating coaches will be like, look, man, looks don't matter. If you had this game, You don't have to worry about that, which is so not true, bro.
That's,
So not true.
so that was the challenge. That was the thing I started seeing different from dating long distance in the U.S. versus overseas. Now, I was pulling the sevens and eights, but they wasn't really they weren't really trying to commit. They were just having too much fun with all their
Hmm.
attention. Like they like I got to give up all this to be able to not be out as much, to be able to so I could have to answer the phone, when you call, at a certain time. And just, some women that look that good and get that much attention, like they're not trying to give all that up and be and with the feeling like they're tied down.
Right. Right. Right.
And but overseas, you got women that you could get sevens, eights, and nines, and they don't even get attention like that in their home country. Because I can speak for some countries. You could tell me about Mexico, but I could say I was in parts of Brazil, Colombia, and even DR and other countries as well. Either the ratio of women is much higher, so they're not getting hit on as much. A lot of times the dudes are not as aggressive or thirsty. Like American dudes are thirsty as hell. Like
Right.
girls get hollered at so much. Like you talk about if a pay for play was legal in the United States, like it's gonna be like, what I mean? It's the supply of women is gonna be too short because there's gonna be
Right.
just so many men just.
Well. Here's the thing. From what you experience and what I experience is you're able to maintain a roster a lot better overseas because most likely you're the number one guy
Mm,
compared to the local dude. So I do preach this on my channel. Looks do matter. Your physical appearance does matter. But what takes you to the next level is your money and your status.
mhm.
Okay. The same looking guy that are like you and I in those countries, they don't have the money or status compared to what we have.
Right.
So that puts you over the edge, okay, compared to those dudes. So now you're able to, once these girls know, like, okay, he's a tall, decent looking dude, plus he's an American, plus he got bank, plus I can go to all these cool places that the average local guy can't afford to take me to. Like, yeah, he's gonna, I'm gonna be hella submissive to him 100% of the time because they know you can always replace them with ease. With ease.
In
They
their
know
in their country.
in their country. It's like, oh, you're acting up today? Ven aquí, mommy. Yeah. Hmm. Get out my table. Andale,
See, women in the U.S. they understand each other to the point where they know that, or they have a high confidence that you can't pull another chick that easy. So they have a sense of leverage to say, okay, if I stop messing with him, they don't their ego is not in jeopardy. Whereas they have to worry about you got another chick on your arm in the next 24 hours or as quick as them. So their ego, because women have egos, so their ego is not at risk a lot in the US. So their ego is pretty secure versus a woman overseas. Like, even if she really ain't trying to deal with you no more, like her ego is not gonna let you like get it with another woman.
Right, right. And another thing to take in consideration, um, we already know the attractive women here in the United States, they have multiple options. They settle down a lot later compared to women overseas. And so, you're constantly trying to keep up with the maintenance of them. Whereas overseas, that's really not an issue for the most part. Now, I will say, like, for example, in Mexico, there are a lot of baddies and the family's got money, bro. I mean, I
Mm.
had a girl in Chihuahua, super baddie, picked me up in a Tesla, bro, and she was a dentist at 23. I'm all like, yo, I'm like, what the hell? Um, I met her off of showaround.com, which is another little cool hack. I know I'm not supposed to tell brothers that, but it's all good, man. Um, yeah, and I'm just like, man, are you with the cartels? Nah. And she was cool as fuck, man. But that goes to show you that, okay, even though she has American money and the family takes care of her, she was extremely humble. Extremely humble.
Bert said, I have a roster in each country: Colombia, Brazil, Thailand. I'm good on dating in the States, man. Hey, man, Bert be on it, man. He be
I see
catching
him.
planes. He be catching flights, man.
Right. I see your IG stories. Salute, brother. I'm happy we can motivate you and keep doing that, man. Like I'm slam dunking on these dating coaches and let them know that passport bros are winning. We're the new heroes of the manosphere. We got dating coaches that hate us. We got feminists that don't like us. you, you know, and you got other red pillars that can't stand us as well. So we're literally fighting 3 different battles.
Mm. So I'm gonna ask you this question, man.
Mhm.
So two things that make it so two main things that I think about when it comes to the difference on trying to take a woman serious or take it to the next level with a woman in the U.S. versus overseas. The first thing I think about is the risk of, how should I say this? Sexual safety. So you mentioned about women don't really sleep around as much overseas. A lot of people have a misconception that is different. And then they have a slightly misconception on, let's say, STD transmission in poor countries. Can you dispel any myth around that?
So you're basically saying because the girls are in a poor country, they're more promiscuous compared to the women here in the United States.
Well, either they're more they're not. I would say the transmission of STDs is more rampant because they, quote unquote.
No, I would say that's a real strong myth. I gotta be honest. The girls that I've been with in Mexico are very feminine and very more hygienic compared to women in the States. They take it serious. So I've never caught anything. I want to keep it like that from dealing with the girl overseas compared to the United States.
Yeah, I think I have noticed a difference in hygiene, even like in Brazil. Just like
Mhm.
women take, women took multiple showers in a day. Like taking, having, having a shower. I'm sorry, taking a shower before sex is so normal, And so I'm gonna say this too. So, guys that have indulged and paid for play overseas before, you are accustomed to showering and the woman you're with showering before y'all interact. So after a while, it becomes second nature. Whether you would a non pro, some people like to say a regular girl,
Mhm.
any type of woman. You know what I mean? Having sex, taking a shower before sex is like customary. And like I've heard conversations amongst women in the United States when they talk about it. I think Angela Yee had a segment, and I think I had reacted to it months back. But basically, the question was, if you just come home from a date, should y'all have, are you going to take a shower before y'all have sex? And one of the girls was like, no, like I took a shower, I got off, fresh before we went on a date. And if we out for a few hours, like I don't feel like I should get in the shower again. I was like, man, my mind different now.
Right. No, it's bad, from dancing and doing other things and probably using the restroom in between that time. Like, nah, it's like go hop in there, go rinse it off to get it nice and fresh and hop on it. But again, with this Western culture, because there's so many simps, like for example, I was on a dating show.
Mhm.
Alex Playing with Fire. Was that yesterday? No, I think that was on Wednesday. This girl, Minka, and that's she cool, she nice, and she was asking like questions like, "Would you have sex with me on my period? Would you eat me out on my period?" I'm like, "Fuck no, hell no!" Like, are you serious? But these dating coaches, one, Justin Mark, and you guys can go back and look at that video. He said, yeah, it's not that bad. Oh, yeah, I would do it. And I'm like, that's the nasty sickness that these simps accept. All right. Right. I mean, if it ain't smelling right, you tell the girl, look, shower or get the hell out the room. I'm not accepting this.
And these chicks, some of these, not all, but some of these chicks in the United States, they will fight you for asking them or expecting them to shower. They're like, I ain't dirty. You're like, just do it.
Right. Exactly. But because so many simps accept stink pussy, okay, they're gonna just not care and do what they gotta do. Which of course that's unacceptable by any man's standards. But again, we have simps here that will just do it.
And they wonder why some guys don't be aroused. They be like, man, you ain't getting a shower. I ain't really trying to hit no more.
Right.
You know what I mean? You just took a boo-boo.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is the last example in regards to this. It was a chick. She was very attractive, man, and we were dating, and we were about to smash, and she it was a long day. She got in the shower, and so after the shower, I hear like the toilet flush. So I'm like a really like germaphobe. So it's like if I feel like if you urinate or do the number 2, you should shower afterward, especially before sex, just because you don't know if the other person, you don't know how they are mentally when it comes to certain stuff. So just to be on the safe side. So she did the number 2 after the shower.
Oh.
So I didn't know right away, right? So I'm like about to smash. I'm, doggy style. And I'm just like, damn, it's a little bad. Like, did she just shower? And I kind of had to say something like, damn, like you went to the, did you go to the bathroom? Like, why you didn't shower after the bathroom? She's like, well, you're gonna do it anyway. After you're gonna take a dump after a shower at some point. I'm just like, man. Hell no, man. So
wow,
that is the microcosm of a lot of mentalities, man. So overseas people, man, they feel they want to impress you. They don't want to have, they want to show their best foot forward. They don't want to put anything that's gonna like X them off the list. So they're gonna make sure they're smelling good and ready, and prepared. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to just touch on that.
Gotcha.
Jay Yalos said, LOL. Let's see. Rona said, if I knew her and we were exclusive, of course. Yeah, if that's your wife or your girlfriend, you know how she take care of herself. He said, but I'm an old Marine savage. Ash L. Facts. Yeah, that was nasty, man. Red Pill Finance. Salute.
Salute.
So the other thing is about we kind of touched on this, is about, let's just say 8s, 9s, and 10s in the U.S. So once again, what is the, I guess, from the dating coach aspect, what would they say what you need to do to pull a 9 or 10? From your experience, what has getting a 9 or 10 to want to commit in the U.S. versus a 9 or 10 to commit overseas?
Right. Well, first of all, not every guy has the ability to pull an 8, 9, or 10. All right. That's why we have so many incels in the United States. And you have what I call the oofy doofy reverse, where decent looking guys are sleeping with very less attractive women because they can't maintain the 8, 9, or 10. So they can initially attract them, but because the 8, 9, or 10 has so many options with guys with resources, um, if you're not on that level, you're not going to be able to maintain them. But a fraudulent dating coach will say, "Well, you just didn't have the game. If you have the game and you let her know what's up, you'll be able to keep that." And again, it comes down to women are always going to choose the best option overall. Okay. So you may be the most handsome looking guy, but if there's a guy maybe less attractive, but he got more stacks and can take care of her long term, she's going to go with him. You may still be the side piece. And that's what I kind of experienced with some girls when I was broke. You know, they went with some other dude, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And I'm still hitting it. You know what I'm saying? But once you level up to that level and you got a bad girl, which my ex, after my girl from college, she was a baddie, ex fitness model. She was extremely high maintenance. And I just said, I can't sacrifice my sanity and manhood to simp to her like that when she's a woman. So going overseas, having the 8, 9, and 10, like how I have now, my sanity is never compromised. And I'm big winning. And it's like, yeah, all you dating coaches are dating grandmas, dating 45-plus-year-old women. And you can go kiss your ass when I got the young 23-year-old hottie that I don't need to do none of this stuff. None of this gaming tactic, anything like that.
Right.
Doesn't apply.
See, the thing I realized overseas is it's a numbers game ultimately. So the chicks that's like 9s and 10s in the U.S., they know they're limited. So they know they have all the leverage because it's just not a lot of 8s, 9s, and 10s. It's just not enough for enough guys to be satisfied. So when you go, so the same attitude, dimes in the U.S. have the same attitude dimes in another country have. Dimes in Colombia, I'm sure Mexico, Brazil, they know they got their pick when it comes to men. The only difference is that there's way more 8s, 9s, and 10s in these countries to go around. You know, so even if a chick wanted to be stuck up or high maintenance or whatever the case may be, it's just too many dimes. So dudes could just find another 8. Dudes could find another 9. It's just so many, and that's why a lot of men realize, you know what, my chances are higher obtaining an 8, 9, or 10 overseas because percentage wise, it's just so much more.
And you have the leverage, but you know, I really want to say it's important because, for example, with Mexico, I tell guys, look, you can get a girlfriend there, but don't expect an 8, 9, or 10 when you're looking like Carl Winslow. You know, maybe Anthony Anderson type of look, but those women are wanting the same thing from a man that's decent looking in terms of the attractive scale. Colombia and the other places, I really don't know, even though I've been to Colombia. But it seems like certain dudes that are not on like that decent looking status are doing really well in Asia, and salute to them.
I would say the DR too. I mean, I felt like, you know, average, I don't want to say below average, but guys that's less desirable, I felt like they got a lot more play in DR, and like you said, in parts of Asia as well, and even in Africa, because some people are used to a certain look, or they view beauty differently.
Right.
Right. Ash L said, "Look at Draymond Green. He dating an old baby mama." Shake my head. What an idiot! He could have easily dated a younger chick with no man.
Right.
For real, man. For real. And to keep it a bean, these millionaires, they could have a faithful woman overseas, to the fact that they ain't got to worry about them cheating, because them women not trying to mess up the bag like that.
No, they not. They know that if they mess up, it's back to the ghetto. You go, and you staying there. Where as a chick here in the West, she'll have your baby just to get the bag, and she's just living off of you forever, and still be with another guy. So, what advantage do you really have dating here in the States compared to overseas? And I always say this, and I think this is very true. Places where prostitution is legal, the behavior of women is completely different. Okay. There's never an issue when it's, hey, I want sex and I want sex now, compared to here, oh, you got to wait, or I'm tired, I don't feel like doing it. Because they know that if they don't satisfy their men sexually, he can easily go get, a pro and eventually leave you. So it's a responsibility as being a woman that they're going to carry that out all the way if they're feeling you.
Right. They're programmed. They're programmed damn near to know, like, man, I gotta please my man sexually. He don't need it. I don't give him a reason to want to see other women. And
Right.
I could go deep on that. So Wayne said, facts, the ace, 9, 10s abroad are available if you have your ish together. No, that's fact. As else, I used to date a chick that lived in Cancun. She was hot. I still remember her 10 years later.
Nice.
He also said DR chicks date a lot of ugly Dominican guys. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, you got those countries, man, where it's a country for every guy. That's the point of encouraging guys to travel, because I could say certain countries, like I said, Brazil. I never had a girlfriend in Brazil, but I had a girlfriend in DR and Colombia. But for some guys, they had girlfriends in Brazil. So it's enough countries and places out there where you can find out where it's sweet for you. And that's what dating coaches should be trying to do, is say, okay, what's sweet for you? Like even in the US, I lived in 5 major cities: Chicago, New York, Philly, Houston. And Houston was just that was sweet for me. That's where I had the most, the most, dating interactions. So everything is location based. The United States is just one country.
Right.
Certain cities you're gonna have more luck in, certain countries you're gonna have luck in. But if I had to choose between Houston and South Africa, or Houston and Colombia, Colombia and South Africa all day over Houston. Just as far as the outcomes I wanted. So that's what expanding your options look like when you expand.
Right. Facts on that. And I will agree, territory does matter for certain guys, and then for other guys, they can kind of go out on the fly. They can date well stateside, they can date well internationally. But if you're one of those guys where territory does matter, you want to maximize your options in that country.
Facts. So what I want to get into, man, I wanted to talk about Latinas in the U.S. versus Mexico. I touch on Colombia, DR, Brazil. So you was on a panel, and
Yeah.
I watched this panel, and then I heard this argument. I'm just like, why is nobody attacking this argument? So the argument was, QB. He's in Mexico, but he's from California, where they probably have the largest population of Mexicans in the United States, outside of Texas. Why is he going to Mexico for Mexicans when he could date Mexicans in the United States, man?
Right.
What was your thoughts on that?
Right. So first of all, Mexican is not a race. I know you know that, but I just want to inform the chat and the audience watching. Mexican is not a race. Believe it or not, Mexico has a lot of different flavors, mestizo. Okay, so you have like your redhead Germans type of Mexican, which you guys are going to see in my Cabo video, man. This 21-year-old I had down there, she's from Las Mochis, Sinaloa, baddie, That whole area, a lot of redhead, white type Mexican girls. You have Asian Mex, a girl that I dealt with in Mexicali in Guadalajara. Yes, and you can see the Asian features. You have like that real Spanish Mexico. So we're talking jet black hair, curvy, where they're looking like semi-Italian European type girls. And then you have your morenas, which I will be honest, they're not attractive compared to the other that I've just mentioned. But it's a great mix of people. And in California, you have a little bit of everything, but in Mexico, it's on a whole nother level. It's a totally different breed of Mexican women in Mexico. I feel a lot of the California Mexican, it's their own culture. It's kind of like that bata tattoos, where in Mexico they're more effeminate, So once I experienced that, and we got a question here, Canelo, I believe he is from Michoacan, which is right next to Guadalajara. But yeah, like I said, they got the redheads, like like the Germans out there. So there's better flavors. The treatment is better overall. And it's not infiltrated so much of American culture. Now, granted, this last one, I mean, she spoke perfect English. Girl's 21 years old, like listening to G Unit and stuff. I'm like, you must have been like 8 years old, 7 years. What the hell? But they love us. But a lot of dudes don't know until you go out there and experience it. So it was kind of mind blowing. But to get that backlash, like, oh, well, there's a lot of Mexican girls in California. Why do you got to go to Mexico? Well, for the reasons that I just stated, better flavors, better treatment. And I'm like the big fish in a small pond. They don't see brothers out there. I've been to many restaurants, places out in public, excursions where women will ask to take a picture with me. Literally. I step into a bar, a guy will come up to me, but like, my friend wants you to dance with her. So if I'm getting semi-celebrity status, because they still think I'm a basketball player, bro, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, let me, forget the Mex treatment stuff, forget having semi-celebrity status. Let me just go be the average black dude in California.
Right.
No, I'm not doing it. Yeah. I'm not doing it. So
they're gonna say, well, why don't you just win a lottery and become a millionaire so you can get treated like that in LA? play the Powerball. The Powerball is like 1.6 billion right now, so make sure y'all play for tomorrow. But yeah, they like, man, you need to become a millionaire then if you want that treatment. It's like, bro, everybody they keep moving the goalposts. Like everybody can't be a millionaire.
Right. So in the black pill, we basically call it like location maxing, Tyrone maxing. So again, since the black population is very, very small, minute, when you go to these upscale places in Mexico and they see a tall brother, it's like, holy shit, like you just come out of nowhere because they're used to seeing their typical Eurocentric type of Mexican guys in those places.
Yeah, I mean, you do get that. So, I mean, when you do come off a certain way, it happens. I mean, I've leveraged it even in the United States. I went to smaller cities, and I said I was an athlete. I was like, I'm a bench player for the Milwaukee Bucks, and they'd be like, for real? Like, yeah, you know, I done got in the club. Like that. You know what I mean? So, I could just imagine overseas getting that type of treatment. You know, when they don't really, you could just say, I might have to try that. I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna have to try that when I go to another country.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, you know, I tell guys, like, for me in Mexico, you know, I have my main, kind of have a side piece. You know, she's all right, and other girls that I'm talking and meeting, kind of in between. They love the status, and when they see me like traveling through my Instagram stories, like they love that shit. They love that you're pre-selected by other women, so it's the treatment is more better. It's come see me now. I promise you're gonna have a good time because they want to be that girl, you know.
That's true.
So why not use that to your advantage? Because, you know, I'm not gonna lie, one day I'm not gonna have this type of power per se as I get older, but once that happens, you know, I got the money in the bank, and by then I'll settle down with a shorty or two, so it's not gonna really matter.
Right. You said when I went to Guadalajara and did karaoke and rap an American song, not only did they love it, they were taking pictures with me. Yeah, man. That's the love it. Another thing, you know, you brought up a point, like the guys, I mean, guys that travel, especially the ones that do it often, like we're not really faking it. Like people might say, well, you just want to be like a celebrity, but we're not really, for the most part, we're not really faking our lifestyle. This is something that I could bring a woman to the United States and she won't see a fall off in how I'm spending or how I'm able to move. I probably could do more if she's here. You know what I mean? To keep it, you know, because I'm paying for, you know, other things when I'm traveling.
Right.
So you got celebrities in the U.S. that kind of fake it. You hear about so many athletes that's broke or rappers that fell off or broke, but guys that travel, is for the most part is real. What they see overseas is a reality.
Yeah, facts. And again, you're able to live the lifestyle that you want, stack up, and still win and have the same results. I mean, I got homies that are still going to Vegas, blowing bottles on tables, spending 2 racks and up. When you go to a place like Guadalajara, one of the best nightclubs that is not only cracking, but you're spending 200, 300 for tables.
Right.
And when you don't finish the bottle, you get to take it home.
Exactly. Man. I see. Yeah, overseas.
With the same beautiful women that are in these other establishments. So it's just mind blowing.
I was gonna say another thing too. I would say, and you could attest to this living in California. I've seen a lot of reports on just racism, especially in, Latin community versus blacks, where, in politics and in the government and local government. So there's a difference even there, because a lot of women have spoken up in California saying, their parents, taught them to, or raised them not to date, let's say black men and things of that nature. So I feel like going to Mexico is a better option. If you are, into, women
Right.
from Mexico, women of Mexico.
Yeah. In California specifically, it's either the Mexican girl, it's literally like split half and half. It's
Mm.
either they like black guys and don't like white guys, or it's vice versa. Like you rarely meet kind of the ones that they both, they don't care. Um, in Mexico, for the most part, that racial tension's not too much of an issue because, like I said, there's really not too many black people, black population. Um, it's just more sort of the cultural norms of being American compared to a Mexican. But the families are very, very accepting from what I experience.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that in all the Latin countries, going to the country, being black is just, they look at you as American. A
Hmm.
white American and a black American, they don't really see a difference.
Right.
And that's why.
Sees. Oh,
Oh, go
I,
ahead.
I, wa- I was just reading the comment. He is right. Guadalajara is the Medellin of Mexico. Some of the most beautiful women of Latin America. That is super big facts.
Yeah, I heard, man. So I want to get your opinion on this
Hmm.
also. So when I was thinking about Latinas in the U.S. versus these other Latin countries, and like I wish somebody really, it'd be some conversations I wish I was there. But a lot of people don't know that. I'm going to use DR for example. A lot of Dominican men that live in New York, that live in Miami area, they go to DR for women. So the argument of saying is Dominicans in the U.S., why go to DR for Dominicans? Dominican men do it.
Right. 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 Well, again, they're going back because they want that traditional type woman,
Mm,
um, where you're getting the Dominican model that's USA made. You're not getting that cultural norm that they want. So they go there and they're more satisfied. And this is something that you can't really compete with here in the States after having that experience. It's like, why go through that? Like, she's going to have to be more submissive than those women, um, if she really wants me. And we know that, again, they have more multiple options here. So it's really not going to happen. And I stated on that Peso Man podcast, I don't know if you listened to this, but a lot of people agreed, but Peso didn't want to recognize it. I said, look, in order for me to settle down with an American chick, she's gonna have to check all the boxes, be young, fit, and feminine. But in order for me to win here and stay here, it
mm,
would have to be a private marriage without the government. And they're like, oh my gosh, like, how could you? You're just using her. And I'm like, no. If I'm going to settle down and keep my resources intact, okay,
right,
my assets intact, all right, knowing the family law system, the divorce court system here in the States,
right,
this is something she is going to have to agree to. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And I'm not losing sleep over it because in another country, I can have that. Or if I do, get a marriage license, then I have the benefits. I can become a citizen. I can get a passport. I can do all these other things, own property, etc. So
Yeah.
they didn't like that. They did not like that.
Yeah, there's so many benefits. They don't argue against the other benefits of overseas, as far as investing, like you said, real estate, doing business, even raising a child. I mean, the education system in the United States is probably the best in the world, but outside of education, raising a child in a more healthier environment, healthier foods, not having to deal with kind of racism and just kind of not being a minority on top. Being a minority is a complex on top of that. There's just so many reasons. But I wanted to drive home just a point that when and y'all that listening, this would be our counter arguments to people. It's not about race. Guys, passport bros, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, guys that travel to meet women overseas is not because of the nationality or their race, it's because of their culture. Because yes, they're the same races or ethnicities of women exist in the United States. So it's not about wanting to be with a Dominican. It's not about wanting to be with a Colombian. It's not about wanting to be a Brazilian. It's not about wanting to be with a Mexicano, if that's even a word.
No, it is Mexicana. And what's crazy is they have their own like nickname in the Mexican states. So like Sonora, they had, I think it's Sonorita or something like that. Michoacana, Nueva Leona or something. So they have their own little nickname in the states. I just thought that was cool to bring it up.
Oh yeah. Colombia has it too in different regions. They have different names, but yeah, it's not about race. It's about culture. So we're not. I didn't get with my wife because she's Colombian. I got with her because of her culture, and she just happened to be Colombian. It could have been a Brazilian or a Dominican. It was about the culture. It's even I even know Nigerian men that live in the U.S. There's Nigerian American women, Nigerian American men, but a lot of Nigerian men, they go back to Nigeria and marry a wife. They don't be marrying a Nigerian woman in the United States. They go back home and marry a chick for their country. So, so those arguments, man, you could find the same in the United States. No, because these other ethnicities, they're seeking their own women in the home country.
Facts. Definitely.
Let's see. Monteez J, he said, yeah, I live in LA. Blacks and Mexicans don't get along as much. Yeah, that's sad, man. I think that's just social programming. Because when you go to these home countries, man, like I thought Dominicans, when I lived in New York, because Dominicans really didn't give as much attention. They kind of like laughed at people that was like dark skinned or something. But going to DR was so refreshing because the people didn't act nothing like the Dominicans I've seen in New York. So don't let what you experience in the U.S. Dictate how you think about them, because if you go to their home country, it's going to be different. Motivational movement says Latinas in Latin America are just more compliant. Also, he said, I talk to African friends and we all say it's a losing battle in the West. Yeah, man. I mean, we could talk about it till we blue in the face, man. But yeah, I mean, interesting discussion, man. I really want to address some of these talking points. But closing out, man, I want to tell people, man, like QB Passport flexing, man. I can't wait to see you, take it to the next level. I look at you as like a go-to person for Mexico. I've seen, out of all the people I've seen do content on Mexico, in my opinion, I think you provided the most receipts and have been to multiple cities in Mexico, not just a particular city.
Right.
So, what I mean, I definitely proclaim you as the Mexican go-to guy. If other guys too. Another guy that used to be in Mexico, I forgot what he used to go by.
Negrito Grande.
Yeah, Negrito Grande. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was somebody back, kind
Yeah.
of before I seen you. But yeah, but y'all too, I seen a lot of Mexican.
Yeah. And with my channel, you're not only going to see the women, you're going to see the culture, you're going to see the food, you're going to see me
Mm,
roast some dating coaches, obviously. Um, I'm going to start live streaming soon, but it's like, I ain't gonna lie, like I feel the pain of the YouTubers now, but when I wasn't a YouTuber, it's like, gotta edit videos and get them out, and the fans are all cheering, okay, when's the next one? You want to keep up with the momentum. Um, but I got some dope stuff coming. I got a lot of good stuff coming in the pipeline that I have to edit and get ready and really grind hard for you guys. Get some merch going too.
mm,
Um, but my thing is, I do tours, I do consultations on Mexico. Um, I'm going to be taking somebody to Veracruz that really loved my channel and
mm,
how I handle myself against the dating coaches, and realize that these guys have blocked me. They don't want me on their panels. I'll call them out right now. Lucario did not want me on Kings and Dreams channel,
mm.
for a casual debate. I can debate you properly, or we can thug it out a little bit, even though I'm not a thug dude, but I can
Right.
get my point across. Um, there's so much opportunity there. Don't believe in the stigma with the whole cartel issue. It's never been an issue with me. The Mexican women that you see here in the United States, particularly in the East and the South, they're nothing like those type of women compared to the region of Mexico.
Mm.
Um, the food is amazing. Beautiful beaches. Oh my gosh, Mexico has so many beautiful beaches. Um, so many places like for hiking, recreation, just the geography of Mexico is one sexy Latina. Like it has it all. Like I am so serious.
Wow, man, man, you know what? I've been as much as I've been to like some of the not to go places in DR and
Hmm.
Colombia. I've had a fear, I had a fear of just going to Mexico. And like I would say now, just listen to you and just kind of observing and watching, like I'm looking forward to visiting Mexico, and obviously you're gonna, I'm gonna utilize you
Right,
to kind of show me around, man. But
right.
I will say, just from what I know, Mexican food is the best cuisine worldwide. I would say up there with Thailand. So I mean, I know you're gonna get the best food. What I mean,
Yes.
ever.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, like Mexicans can make very good American food too.
Mm.
So if you're a burger steak guy, like, unfortunately I don't eat red meat anymore because I'm trying to maintain what I got, but when I did, the burgers taste a lot fresher and juicier in Mexico compared to the States. And I grew up in Cali, bro. We had In-N-Out, all types of burger joints in LA. Oh man, in Mexico, I'm gonna say specifically in Monterrey, which is the best beef in Mexico.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean they're killing it on the cuisines out there, and I'm gonna be real. They're stepping their game up on soul food too. Fried chicken, I had it in Mexicali. It was fire, man. It was fire. So yeah, it's a lot out there to explore and have a good time, be safe, and not really hurting on your budget, especially when you know how to move.
Man, bet. So I have your channel. I put it in the chat, and it's also hyperlinked in the title. So make sure you check out the brother, man. If anybody wants to contact you for a consultation, what is the best way they can reach out to you?
Yeah, reach out to my Instagram. I'll private it. Type. Well, you know what? I can pull up the link and put it in the back chat, and then you can put it on. Is QB Willie B?
And I'll put it in the description too. So
Yeah.
Revert back to it.
Reach out, like, when you see me, send me a message. Let me know that it was from the podcast, because I got a lot of trolls that try to hit me up. And yeah, whatever you want to know about Mexico, like I've literally been to probably over 20 states in Mexico and probably like 30 cities in Mexico. So I will definitely put a game plan for you to win. Okay, not a dating coach game plan, but how you move, how you like to move, how you travel, what options you want or need. Because there's so many different cities and every place is different. That's what's very unique about Mexico, like night and day different. So yeah.
Would you do any hold your hand tours? Like to say, hey man, I'll pay for your flights, I'll pay for your transportation.
Yeah. Like I said, I got one of my subs. He's gonna come through on that. So, you guys let me know. From what you guys seen in the videos, because I tell people, look, yes, the information is free, okay, but I'm like a travel consultant. All right. If you want to experience what you have seen in my videos, that information ain't free. I'm gonna keep it big fat. All right. So if you go somewhere and you don't know how to move, and we're talking the places to go, the places to stay, certain accommodations, you're not going to have as much of a good time. Certain events as well, because certain cities and areas and events is where it's really popping, where you can really learn the culture. So yeah, the information's free, but again, if you want to move like a boss and have this type of experience, hit me up. I'm going to make sure that happens, and I'm going to put you in a winning position. That's guaranteed.
That's what's up, man. I'm gonna have to we're gonna have people do stuff, so when they want to get a discount, they'll put in like Passport Bros podcast as a discount, so you know where they came from. Arthur Will, what up, Arthur Will?
He said he needs to get a channel, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he gotta get a channel.
Thank you, Art. Yeah. And I tell guys, look, man, Passport Bros, we are living a better lifestyle than your favorite dating coach. Name me one dating coach in the manosphere that's living like us. And we can even stop with the top dog, AMS. This fool hasn't even been out the country. A millionaire, supposedly. Hasn't even stepped outside the country, bro. And do it like us, man. That's how much there are stuck in the matrix.
AMS probably going to the clinic every 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah. Arda Will, he mentioned FedEx Fearless. I gotta keep it real, supposedly FedEx, I know he was out there in Colombia, but he was going after mangoes, man. He wasn't pulling them without opening up the wallet. So until I can see FedEx with some receipts, I mean, I'll probably break down this video on my channel, but we can talk about it really quick. Him, Austin Dunham, I think it was MJ Get Right. They did like that whole Red Pill Manosphere tour or whatever in Miami, and like literally the only woman in that video that showed him somewhat attention was like an older black woman. And I'm all like, yo, where's all this muscle on a beach?
Mhm.
Where are the baddies like in a club having a good time? All that, like, I didn't see any of that, bro.
Mhm.
Any of that. And this is like the all-star lineup of like black filler manosphere dating coaches. But to be honest with you, like, I gotta keep it real. Like, those guys are like 5'5", 5'9", 5'7", like average height dudes.
These are guys that's like they cut up, they in shape, they be showing their muscles and stuff like that.
Right, yeah. And I'm telling you, when it comes to baddies, bro, you experience this, and I don't mean to rub it in people's faces, but they like tall dudes. You know, they like taller guys. Um, so if you're decent looking, have some level of height, you're gonna win, and it's gonna multiply in another country for sure.
And it's a little bias in those guys too, because those guys are the exception to the rule. Like if you want to show you can pull women, be an average looking guy and do what they do. That's how you convince men. But if you don't look like them or aspire to look like them, that's not really realistic.
It,
They're just the
it,
exception.
exactly, and here's the thing. From what I experienced with girls, they want like the leaner type of guy. That's what they desire more compared to all that muscle. And a great example, if you guys go to my channel, when I roasted Authentic Alphas, this guy takes TRT, shoots it up his ass, which is uh, testosterone replacement. That's what TRT means.
Mhm.
And he got rejected the whole entire night at a
Mhm.
club in Miami. So that proves to you right there that all this buff muscle stuff, get in the gym, you got to get all this muscle. Yes, get in the gym and slim down, but all that extra muscle stuff is not required.
A lot of girls don't like that. I think somebody had a question for you. They said, "Is this brother into IT?"
No, I'm not. Yeah. I mean, my 9 to 5 is in like construction work, basically. Um, so yeah, I'm not the IT dude. Sorry.
Arthur Will said the baddies are headache. Just get a Kawhi girl with a ass.
Right.
So he said not all the way true. He said I'm 5'10", but I'm fit, so they still choose on a brother.
Yeah, like I said, some level of height, and as long as you're in decent shape, okay, decent shape, where you're not overweight, your BMI, your body fat percentage is maybe the max 25%, but you want to be lower than that. I'm trying to get leaner, Doug, and it's tougher when you're a little older, mid 30s. It's tough, but it takes discipline.
Yeah, he said he right. Most women not big on muscles, just slim and rippness. Yeah, because they in the United States they're not looking for a man to physically protect them. They feel protected by so much other things that they don't need a big old strong. I've seen women choose a, I would call somebody puny over somebody buff.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think lean is the way to go, like for your health, man, because when you have all that muscle, you have to maintain it. You have to have like a certain diet. And once you don't keep up with that stuff, it's going to turn into fat instantly.
Yeah, yeah. There's other health risks with that as well. More Fortune said, ask him how the trucking industry there, California or
No, no,
Mexico.
no. He's talking about Authentic Alpha's Allende because he's a trucker. His regular job is a trucker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he didn't want people to know that. And it's like, bro, be authentic. If your name is going to be Authentic Alphas, you need to be authentic about your lifestyle. We caught your fruity pebble ass dancing at these gay events in Miami.
See, this is
And
the
yet,
thing. This is the
and
thing.
yet you want to be a dating coach. And
This is
then you try to infiltrate Passport Bros by going on Austin Hollerman's lives and wanting to be, co-starring with him on these panels when you only travel to Mexico City to do, fitness modeling contests. Like, you don't even explore the city. You don't even go out because you don't drink or do any of that stuff. So we know that you're sus. Let's keep it 100, man. A lot of those bodybuilding guys that they go the other way, and he's one of those dudes for sure.
Hey, you know what? Women, especially black women, they have an idea of men that's packing. So a lot of women that look at guys that's muscular, they look at them as like they're not packing down there. That's kind of how they filter the men. You know what I mean? So black women like dudes with a big penis. So they look at certain attributes of a man to determine if he's most likely gonna offer that. They may not be right 100% of the time, but they definitely look at being over muscular as a negative.
Right.
He said, Ronan said, bro, 6'2" teddy bear be pulling.
Yeah.
All the guys get a pass. No.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Like in Mexico, there are a lot of Mexican women that like older men.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like one of my youngins. I mean, I just told you the girl that I hooked up with in Cabo, she just turned 21. So it's there. So let's just say if you're a guy in your 40s and you want something decent and attractive, you can probably get something in the young 30s for sure.
Oh yeah, anywhere, man. I mean, it's
Mhm.
in other countries, women over 30 don't even expect you to talk to them. It's kind of like I had this. I seen a scenario where let's say you in a mall in the U.S., right? And let's say you see a young lady and her mother, right? The young lady, let's say she might be 22, 23, and let's just say she got a mom that's say like in her young 40s or whatever. And let's just say, no, for the sake of argument, let's just say she's 25, and let's just say her mom is like 40. Let's just say her mom is like 40. Or she got an older sister that's 35. Like my wife's sister, for example. So you in a mall in the US, you approaching these two ladies. Psychologically, the older chick is thinking you're about to approach her.
Yeah.
Psychologically, she's thinking you're about to approach her, and the younger one is like, she's mentally shamed not to even look your way because this is for the older, this is for my sister, this is for my mom. But overseas, walking in a mall and you approaching these two ladies, the older one is assuming that you're gonna talk to the younger one. They're already assuming that. They're already prepared for that. They're not even looking at you because they know that you are most likely going for the younger one, and the younger one is probably expecting that.
Right.
So it's just so different when it comes to that.
Yeah, and like when I was in a Culiacan, Sinaloa, another place, beautiful women, there was this older Mexican lady, great shape. Her kids are grown, and I'm just like, yo, if I put it down, like I ain't got to worry about nothing coming out, you know. But she was fit, feminine, and it's like, yeah, even older women take care of themselves a lot better overseas compared to older women here in the United States.
No, that's true. I
Mhm.
don't know who are the real roasting. He said Gay Double Edge, Alfie, Queendom, and Platinum.
Yeah. Oh, Alfie, the Cookie Monster, he will be roasted, and he knows it's coming. I mean, bro, on that last podcast, he was literally curled up like a woman, bro. You know, had the little dog and stuff, and like a bitch attitude. Like this guy QB in the chat, he want to talk about receipts and stuff. Like, why is he saying that? Why is he? I'm like, bro, you're a fraud. All right. We know your Cookie Monster ass is going out there paying for pussy in Colombia. All your Instagrams, bro, I've saved this, so it's coming. He literally posted a video of like a Colombian girl, like, oh, no choosing signals, right? That's what it like titled, no choosing signals.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even able to dance with the girl, bro. I'm like, why would you even post this? No, you're gonna get torn up. I've saved it, you know, because there's another dating coach on the White Manosphere. He actually deleted a video because he knew I was coming from him. But yeah, they're afraid, bro. Like it's comedy at the end of the day because I know I know we're untouchable on this end. All they're gonna say is all the girls are pros and receipts, and I've shown Tinder matches, I've shown Bumble matches, I've shown the girls in the nightclub. Like, what else can you ask for? But they're, you know, that's their whole defense. They're all pros. They're all pros. I'm like, all right, you're disingenuous.
I don't know none of these guys that y'all mentioned, but I'm gonna have to tune in when y'all roasted, man. Cause
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to probably do it on a live because that Lucario video, like, I appreciate the subs, the views, and the watch time, but man, that was labor intensive. So if I just do a live and kind of go raw at it versus like editing and go back, I think guys can appreciate that. And then, you know, I'll open up the panel and they can chime in, which I think that's more impactful compared to making that video edit. Even though it was nice, you know, Andrew Show. Salute to that brother. He's another passport bro. Go sub to his channel as well. Um, he was very neutral in the process, and Lucario just basically told on himself that he's a salesman and over pitching. And it's like, what are the results? You know, if we see you with the receipts of older women, okay, how is it that you're worth $4,000 to go meet? And then you're saying Skype calls for $1,000. Like, bro, do you know what you can do with $1,000 traveling? Like, come on, 4,000 for Skype calls with Lucario? That's banging grannies, all right, in the common lesson home, all right. Like, yo, like, stop it. So, yeah.
Man. But yeah, man, it's been a good one, man. I'm gonna check out of here, man. Make sure y'all once again check out QB Passport Flexing. You know what I mean, the Mexico content creator and others. Let me read one last comment. Arthur Will said Lo Cut Rio sucks the ski out of his wife's box after Steve.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's funny. One more thing I gotta mention. I will be going to Peru, and then I'm gonna be hitting Ecuador in December. So surprise for you guys. Yeah, you know. And I'm kind of only doing it because I do have it easy in Mexico, but I'm gonna let guys know, okay, I can move like this in other countries, not just Mexico. So I really want to put that on display.
Okay. Can you speak Spanish?
Yeah, poquito más. Más aprende todos los días. Duolingo. 20 minutos todos los días. Es muy importante para personas latinos. ¿Y tú,
Ah,
hermano?
sí, sí. Por supuesto.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Feliz. Gosh, I forgot how you say Friday. Oh my gosh.
Be honest.
Yeah, viernes. Yeah. But yeah, en la noche necesito ejercicio. Muy importante.
Sí,
No
sí.
panza para latinas.
Okay. Próxima
So
vez.
I know enough to get by. Like I've gotten better over the years because I would feel so bad when the Uber drivers would pick me up and they want to like greet you and you don't know what the F they're saying. And so I'm almost to a point where it's semi-conversational. And I want to get better. So it's tough, bro. Being a YouTuber, having that 9 to 5, learning Spanish, wanting to listen to other YouTube videos,
Dealing with trolls.
exercising, cooking. It's we're busy 24/7, but we do this for you guys. So when we ask for donations or the Cash App stuff, we really appreciate that stuff because we put a lot of work into this.
Yeah, man, a lot, man. I'm almost monetized, so you know what I mean. The super chats, people can support real soon, man. But yeah, man, I definitely want to have you back.
Okay.
Especially after you hit those trips, man, because I do want to Ecuador is another country I want to get I want to get more intel on. Practica español todo el día.
Yeah.
Sí, hermano.
Yes.
Hasta luego. La próxima vez.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Yeah. Got the flight book, it's a library. I'm in that deal. Just took a flight to Bora Bora and foreign parts like foreigners. Berry on her. Up in France, bitch, bonjour. I been come to Garçon, we going Paris tomorrow. Only Paris we carry, spin at the mall. We doing singing Malone, my diamonds be singing. Add some more, change, that's the same alone. Dripping all the way from home, ain't taking the wrong. Got the flight book, it's a library. We ain't flying solo. Tune in to the show. It's the Passport Bros. No excuse entertainment. Jay Slay on the show. Turn it up some more. It's the Passport Bros.